Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
Are you searching for a genuine connection with God and others? Then join Virginia Beach United Methodist this week for worship, life groups, holy yoga, or one of the many other activities we offer every week in a warm and friendly environment. We are located at 212 19th Street in Virginia Beach with modern services at 9:30 a.m. and traditional services at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. For more information, please visit our website at vbumc.org or call 757-428-7727.
From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene, midweek online, Saturday on the radio from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., right here on 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com. Type in WPMH in the search bar to listen Saturday at 10. Greg Bicouvaris, Joe Daniel, glad you're with us on the Lighthouse. Sports Scene is an interview show, and also watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter @GregBic, that's GregBic, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville, sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, and Hampton Roads onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Me Casita, show presented by hrsmhof.com. Major League Baseball on Fox, Tides, enjoy the pool and the beach is my advice for this week. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists. Stay tuned.
There's no doubt about it. There's no better feeling than being able to make someone's dream come true. Project 143 gives orphans the opportunity to leave their orphanage and visit an American host family. That could be your family. Each child's story and picture and more about hosting over Christmas or for a few weeks during the summer is available online at p143.org. There are 143 million orphans worldwide who need you. Consider hosting an orphan for a few weeks this year with Project 143. Find out more at p143.org.
The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
And welcome back to Sports Scene right here on 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, The Lighthouse, also tunein.com. So important these days, folks. Type in WPMH to listen on your phone or your computer. Greg Bicouvaris along with Joe Daniel. The gentleman has had a show here. Known him for several decades in the tennis community as well. Let's welcome back Darryl Cummings, the head coach at Norfolk State in tennis. How are you, Darryl?
Greg, I'm doing fine. How are you today?
Very good, my friend. It's summertime. It's tennis season. And first of all, let's get your thoughts before we evolve. Your thoughts on Nadal winning another French Open. Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's unbelievable. Because if you won 11 tournaments anywhere, I mean, for example, if you won the member guest at your local club 11 times, you're a rock star. Okay, so to win any tournament 11 times is special. To win a French Open, a Grand Slam 11 times, that's phenomenal. However, I'm very critical of the French Open. I just think it's a specialty surface because out of all the slams, that's the slam where many best players in the world have not won it. Edberg didn't win it. McEnroe didn't win it. Connors didn't win it. Becker didn't win it. So you had a lot of number one players in the world that didn't win on that surface. And I'm not telling them to change the surface or anything. Maybe it's the ball or something. But even the own French players, since Yannick Noah hasn't won the tournament. So I'm a little critical of that slam in the sense that I do believe it produces more one-slam wonders. Now, obviously, Rafa is not a one-slam wonder, but the French is my fourth, in the pecking order. just because other top players have not won that tournament. I mean, whereas Wimbledon, a lot of number one players in the world have won that tournament. So I just think it's a void. When you have a Grand Slam tournament, you would like to have the likes of the Edbergs and Beckers and so forth on your championship wall, as opposed to Bersategui, Luster, and maybe Gustavo Kuerten and so forth. No offense to those guys, but they didn't win these other slams either.
Right, but you look at Gomez, who won it, Chang, who won it, and you mentioned Muster, and Muster was one of my all-time favorites in clay. He had an accident years prior, and he won it, but they never won it multiple times. Even Vilas, he won it in, 77, went back 5 years later in 82, which is unbelievable, and lost as well to Mats Wilander. So, like you said, there were a lot of one-time wonders. Yeah,
and certainly, again, to win any tournament 11 times, it is just unbelievable. But I do believe that slam has, out of the four slams, have the big void. I mean, the Australian Open used to be a dog tournament back in the 70s. I mean, people didn't go to it. But in recent years, recent decades, I mean, the Australian Open has become huge. So I would kind of rank them maybe, U.S. Open. I'd have to say the U.S. Open. No, actually, I don't have to say that. I mean, I would say Wimbledon's probably the most prestigious one to win, then the U.S. Open, then Australian Open, and then the French.
Mm-hmm. But you tell the Europeans, they'll say the French is right up there. So I totally understand. And, France has been in the news a lot for a lot of negative reasons. But, of course, glad to see that the French Open did turn out very well. As far as the women are concerned, Serena had a baby. She didn't win the French Open, but still it was nice to see her make a comeback after some time off.
Yes, I mean, she's got to be the forget gender. She's one of the most phenomenal athletes of all time. Her strength, her ability to dictate in points. I mean, when her and Venus came on the scene, they were hitting the ball very hard, and they were just overpowering people, and it raised the standard of tennis. Now all the girls are hitting the ball hard, but for her to still be able to compete for championships, and I just think this thing about her having a child and coming back is just another way of demonstrating her championship mentality and her resiliency. I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll be like LeBron. Maybe she'll still be on the tour, and when her child joins the tour, she might be 50, and her child might be playing on the tour, and we might be seeing LeBron play basketball and his son being on the floor at the same time. I would put nothing by Serena, and as many people would say, hey, what's going on with American tennis? And, of course, the four semifinals we had at the U.S. Open this last year and so forth is phenomenal in the women, but we still have Serena. I mean, we have one of the best players of all time, and she's still playing. So American tennis, led by Serena, is making a lot of history.
Right, but you got to wonder how many more years for her sister Venus as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you have to wonder that, but it's sort of a cool era in that women are playing in athletics above the age of 35. There were a couple of decades ago, it just wasn't cool. I mean, if you played, if for a female tennis player to play after the age of 25, it just wasn't a cool thing. But I think, they take care of their bodies. They've been able to, or they've shown they can balance family, giving birth to a child and so forth. It's really cool to see this trend in not only tennis but in athletics of them staying in shape and playing until their late 30s and into 40.
You're right, because look at Gabriella Sabatini. She was excellent, but she got out in her 20s.
Yeah, that's a good example. Sabatini, Graf. I mean, I think we would have liked to have seen them play a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. All right, Darryl, let's talk about your team, Norfolk State. How did it do this past spring, and what do you expect for the summer for your players?
Well, we had a pretty solid year on both the men and the women's side. Both teams competed and made the conference championship. The men made the semifinals. The women lost into the quarterfinals, and the men lost to the champions. We return a lot of players this year. Our signature win last year with the men is that we upset at the United States Naval Academy in Norfolk on campus. So that was a anytime you compete against programs like that and you're able to come victorious, that adds to the confidence of the program. So now most of the players are playing some tennis this summer, working at tennis clubs in up north. And so we look forward to having them return in the fall, compete in some individual tournaments, and then lace them up for the spring for the team portions in the team matches in the spring of 2019.
Talking to Darryl Cummings, Mr. Tennis in Hampton Roads, former Old Dominion tennis coach as well. Darryl, is it strategy that you try to teach to these girls and guys during the course of a match as far as the general strategy, hit to the person's backhand, do some drop shots? What is your overall strategy? Because every match is different, as you well know.
Yeah, every match is different. However, at the respective level we are and what we try to progress to be is pretty much let's keep the ball out of the middle of the court and being able to hit more cross courts, more sharp angles cross courts, and opening up the court and being able to hurt your opponent with some down the line shots. It is at the level we're competing and what we're aspiring to do. We just need to keep the ball out of the middle of the court, and it's okay to miss long sometimes and be able to dial it back. But and then we try to have some deliberate practice on that, where we're developing where they can see the board or see the court 3 or 4 shots in advance. Because often when that person hits that down the line winner with the forehand, it was really a shot that was that happened 3 or 4 shots before that impacted that created that opportunity and so forth. So, like for example, in the pro level, you see these guys doing some great drop shots, but actually the drop shots are not that great. The fact that they've hit some very penetrating cross-court shots to back the other player back. And so the Rafas and Andy Murray, when he's healthy, they have some fantastic drop shots. But the drop shot in itself, when you evaluate it, isn't that sort of the impact was generated by their penetration of hitting the ball deep and cross-court and so forth. So anyway, to sum that up, we just try to get them to keep the ball out of the middle of the court and do some damage. It's kind of like a baseball pitcher, man. If you're just throwing fastballs right in the middle and so fast you get hit. So we got to be able to move the ball around the court at the level we're trying to compete.
Yeah, even lob it once in a while too. You talk about tennis in general, how it's evolved as far as rankings of players. How do you determine your top 6? And give us how it works as far as the scoring, Darryl. It used to be best out of 2 out of 3 sets. You would play a full third set. How do you determine that as far as singles and doubles, as far as points?
Well, the team match itself, we play 3 doubles matches first. Each one is 1 set. And then the university that wins 2 out of 3 of those earns 1 team point. And then when we go to play singles, we play 6 singles matches, and each match is worth a point. And we're playing no-ad scoring, which I'm not really a fan of, but at the Division I level, we play no-ad scoring. And so the university that wins 4 points is declared the team champion. With our lineup is determined basically on the men's side. Our 6 players are very, very competitive with each other. But now, which was developed in Hampton Roads on 757, there's a rating system. The Universal Tennis Rating System was developed. It's not a ranking, but it's a rating, and it helps determine or demonstrate level of ability. So, for example, the Federers and the Dowls are level 16s. Our guys on the Norfolk State team range from level 12 to 11.5.
Well, they changed all that. It used to be 4.5, 5.0. The pros would be 7.0. Why do they have to restructure that?
Well, that one rating system, the USTA rating system, is fantastic for league play, but there wasn't a global rating system where you could tell the difference between a local high school player or a pro player or a college player. This rating system, the Universal Tennis Rating, was established in about 2007, and it's really taken over the world. I mean, federations used it. It's the official rating system for many countries, including Britain, and an official rating system for USPTA, PTR, college tennis, and so forth. So it's nice because now you get a true understanding of what a person's level of play is. And it pretty much works on a competitive threshold. So Greg, if you and your friends like Roger Federer and Rafa, if you guys are level 16s, and I was to play against you guys, and I could go 6'3", 6'4", like 50% of the time, I might not win against you guys, but it's fair to say that I'm the same level. Is that so? The Norfolk State team, they're level 12s, and if they want to progress to level 13s, then we need to play some 13s, and we need to get to a competitive match, which is 6'3", 6'4". And if we could do that 50% of the time, then we're that level. So if it's whether it be high school tennis or college or pros, the nice thing is this rating system now shows a pathway, a true pathway where you can compare entry-level kids, high school players, competitive adult players, college players, and pro players all together. So
sure.
Serena's like a level 13 on that.
All right, we're going to take a short break, come back with some more of Darryl Cummings talking tennis, former Old Dominion coach, also current coach at Norfolk State. We're going to talk some summer tournaments here locally in Hampton Roads and beyond. Stay tuned. This is Sports Scene on 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com, type in WPMH.
If you're pregnant, then you know there's a lot to consider. Here are some tips. Eat nourishing food, stay active, get plenty of rest, and do all you can to minimize stress. Avoid smoking and alcohol. Learn your options for care before, during, and after the baby comes. Start planning for breastfeeding. It offers health benefits to you and your baby. It's best for you both if you give birth after 39 weeks of pregnancy. Learn more at childbirthconnection.org. This public service message is from the National Partnership for Women and Families, United Healthcare, and this station.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, back here on Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us, talking to Darryl Cummings, who's hosted a show here. I've interviewed on TV and radio several times. Darryl, it's a fun time of the year. You and I actually have played in tournaments during the summer in Richmond and other places in Hampton Roads, where you see a guy like Mark Vines playing against some of the younger local guys, or a Tim Wilkinson in the past playing in Lynchburg. It's a great time of the year where you see some former pro players playing against current college players or even amateurs when some of these nice sanctioned tournaments.
Yes. In the area, our area is just flooded with a lot more tournaments than certainly back in our days, Greg. I mean, between Huntington Park and Newport News and the Virginia Beach Tennis and Country Club, Princess Anne Country Club, Cavalier, there's tournaments in Suffolk and Chesapeake. They're all over as far as these USTA sanctioned tournaments. And then in Richmond, you have that McDonald's tournament with $30,000 of prize money in the first week of July. Actually, during the first week of Wimbledon, that tournament is going on, and you'll see some players there competing for $7,500 first round check. I mean, not first round, but the finals. You know, if you win the tournament, $7,500. So. Anyway, so a lot of tournament play, a lot of action going on in the summer here in, I guess you'd say, the coastal Virginia area and certainly up to Richmond. So just a lot of action for people to get involved into tournaments and a lot of opportunity to compete.
Yeah, one of the more consistent tournaments has been the Banana Open at the Virginia Beach Tennis and Country Club. And, of course, Ned Haynes has run some really good local tournaments on the peninsula over the years. But you mentioned the big event in July in Richmond. What type of field do you expect in that? Will we see some former pros as well?
Yeah, in the tournament in Richmond is you'll see players who've reached about 300 in the world, and they're playing that. And they're playing that tournament basically to win prize money, to allow them to get back out on the circuit and to offset some expenses. So you'll see that. And that tournament that you mentioned, certainly the Banana Open has been going on for decades, and it's run by the Virginia Beach Tennis Patrons, which do an excellent job in promoting tennis and activity not only in Virginia Beach but throughout Hampton Roads. So those are two marquee tournaments there from a local standpoint. And the Banana Open has all think they do it over a couple of weekends there, and it's throughout the. They have some mixed doubles and doubles and certainly singles.
Mm-hmm. Back in the day, Old Dominion had some scholarship tournaments there as well.
Yeah, so they don't do that tournament was done in September, and it's kind of a void. That tournament doesn't exist, since Old Dominion built the Folk Stevens indoors, and also Old Dominion has gotten more competitive as far as splitting the programs from my days, where you have a head coach and a women's coach. So there's a little bit more pressure there, I think, at Old Dominion than back in my days. Even though we had some success, actually we had some really good success. But so the coaches now are just pretty much 100% dialed in the recruiting aspect and the development of their players. So that tournament kind of dropped off. I'm hoping to resurrect something like that for Norfolk State, because it really allowed the community to compete, mingle with, get to see college players. Because when you do events like that, normally your players are playing with people within the community, and certainly within our community, we're very blessed to have a lot of successful college programs. I mean, Old Dominion, Norfolk State, Virginia Wesleyan women made the conference finals. Hampton had a lot of success. Their women's team made the finals of the MEAC championship. Old Dominion men won their conference tournament. So just within 15 minutes of each other, but we got some really good programs. And then, of course, if you go into Williamsburg, obviously the College of William and Mary. So from a local level, we have some very successful college programs. But I would like to see all of the college programs continue to be more involved within the community, because our tennis makes all of our communities better. It's a lifelong sport. And the more you can integrate the different levels and the different kinds of programs together, the better we become as a community.
Talking to Darryl Cummings, Norfolk State tennis coach, Greg Bicouvaris, 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, tunein.com, type in WPMH. This is Sports Scene right here on WPMH. Darryl, talk about the anxiety for an individual sport for kids and parents during the summer. You see it firsthand more than anybody at your facility, at your school, at the high school, the college level, that summer tennis anxiety. I remember as a kid, I'd walk up, this is well before the internet, and say, "Are you so-and-so?" Just that feel, try to get an idea of who my opponent's going to be, because there is anxiety in a 2 out of 3 set tennis match, and you're trying to win. You're out there all alone like an island. Doubles is different, but singles, there is some anxiety. There's nothing like playing in that summer sun against an opponent who you might don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, the sport in itself, that's one of the cool things about it. I mean, it really... it certainly develops a lot of the individual qualities, because there's not too many, can't really do timeouts. There's no clock. Often you're calling the lines yourself. So the sportsmanship and those kinds of qualities you're held to individually out there. But now you know a little bit more about your opponent than due to the internet, and also due to Universal Tennis Rating. So usually you show up and you know what the person's record is, what level they are, and probably even know what their face looks like, because between social media and everything, you can find out all of this. So, but when you go to the anxiety that I see is mostly like with the parents when they're junior kids that are under the age of 16, because to sit through a match and you're watching your kid dump a couple of balls in the net, and you get a little wigged out. So I see a lot of the parents. We always encourage our parents when they come to our events, when their kid is playing, we give them a listing of all the local restaurants, coffee shops, and Trader Joe's. So basically we say, get the heck out of here and let your kids play tennis, because it'll keep you from developing tics and nervous disorders and so forth. Because when they're playing the team sports and they're running up and down the field like soccer or basketball, you don't get that individual sensation. I remember Bobby Dandridge, who was the great basketball player from Norfolk State. I saw his daughter taking a lesson one time, and I'd never met him. And, I like to meet people who have NBA rings. And he was 3 courts away watching his daughter take a lesson. And I said, hey, would you like to go closer? Because I know you want to watch your daughter, but I would like to talk to you. And he goes, no, we can stay here because my daughter doesn't allow me to be on the same court. So I had to stay 3 courts away. And I just thought that was so funny because here she was, at the time, I think she was going to play for Maury High School. And here's a 2-time NBA champion. But he was instructed that he had to be 3 courts away when she took a lesson or competed. And I just thought that was funny as far as that's kind of a long answer to your anxiety question or so forth. But hey, if Bobby Dandridge has to stay 3 courts away, I guess that rule could hold for everybody. So that's why we send most of our parents when they drop their kids off to Trader Joe's and let them go buy some nice food or something.
There's nothing like that summer tennis anxiety. Golf has got it, but golf is more of the beautiful landscape. Tennis, you're more confined in a smaller surface than golf. Or golf, you can really escape from hole to hole. You really can't do that in tennis. Swimming is kind of like tennis, where you're kind of in your own lane. But swimming and tennis are very adrenaline pumping sports. You do have a break with odd games, but it is what it is. Who are some of the players that you've coached that have stood out? Wrapping this up, Darryl.
Well, 2 marquee players that I coached in college was Tippy Abziller and Isaac Van der Merwe. Tippy became number 1 in college tennis, and she was the oldest player at age 34 to make it into the top 100 in the world rankings. And she made it to the second round of the U.S. Open, lost in 3 sets to Justine Henin-Hardin, who was the number 1 seed, who just won the Olympic gold. And Tippy lost in 3 sets to her at age 34. And so she was a very special player. Isaac, on the other hand, in college tennis, during his junior and senior year, he made the semifinals or finals in singles and doubles of all 3 national championships, the NCAAs, the ITA All-Americans, and the national indoors. And he became 100 and about 104 in the world, somewhere in that range, and played Davis Cup for South Africa. Tippy played Federation Cup for Israel, and she's currently the Fed Cup captain for Israel. And in 2007, both of them were in the main draw of Wimbledon, which was a pretty cool feat for us to have 2 players at the same time in the main draw of Wimbledon. So, but we had other players that became All-Americans and so forth, and really achieved some good things. But those 2 first definitely had more of an impact on the ATP and the WTA tour. So you don't get too many chances to have that kind of special player that you get to work with. But I was fortunate to have those couple of players, and which led to other recruits too, because anytime you get players at that level, some other people like to join your program and make those kinds of traditions.
Darryl, talk about your facility. I still want to take you up on that open court. When is a good time for me to come out there? And also just talk about your wonderful facility and your bubble as well.
We have my wife and I, Beth Gregory, we own a club in Virginia Beach called Cape Henry Racquet Club, and it was established in 1974 by George Dragish, who built it, and we took ownership in 2009, renovated it. So we have a little boutique clubhouse, 3 outdoor clay courts, and we have 2 indoor courts, clay courts that is, with a tension fabric structure, which stays up year-round. And so we have programming, and we've done quite a few fundraising events there. Recently, we had one for Norfolk State there, and we've even done one for Hampton Sydney and certainly Virginia Wesleyan and so forth. So we've had quite a few fundraising events there, and we have ongoing activity. And on Saturdays at 4 o'clock, we got Tennis 101. So basically anybody that's interested in playing tennis or getting started in the game or a little rusty, hadn't played in a decade or so, Tennis 101 every Saturday at 4 o'clock at Cape Henry Racquet Club.
I might take you up on that one. And the Greek Festival banner, we're still up there, huh?
The Greek Festival, we take, everybody wants to take a picture next to the Greek Festival banner, because the Greek Fest, I mean, Is that not the best food in the world, period?
Yeah, the one in the Newport News, and, of course, the spring and the fall. And our good friends, in Norfolk as well, do a great job, too. But really, you're exactly right. And, of course, the open court sometimes, in the afternoon, get a good match in. Come on by there, I guess, around 4 or 5 o'clock still.
Yeah, Greg, and we want to get you out there because we need to evaluate your game to see what we have left in your game as you've aged over the years.
You're not kidding.
We'd like to get a full evaluation of that.
Got to get Sonny Dirth out there as well, make a few laughs. All right, Darryl, all the best to you, my friend. Good luck with the summer tennis season. This is always the best time of the year for tennis during the summer, and continued success in all that you do for Norfolk State and the community.
Thank you, Greg, and thanks for all you do promoting sports here in our coastal Virginia area. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Darryl. Good friend. Darryl Cummings right there, Norfolk State tennis coach extraordinaire, former Old Dominion coach on Sports Scene. Stay tuned.
Virginia Beach, make it the summer to remember. Get ready for the Summer Lights Tour with Jeremy Camp.
You call me out.
Matthew West.
I'm going all in.
And Ren Collective.
With
special guest Corinne Hawthorne. July 19th, 7 p.m. at Rock Church in Virginia Beach. Tickets are on sale now online at SummerLightsTour.com. That's SummerLightsTour.com. The Summer Lights Tour, presented by Compassion International.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene. Our good friends at Craft 17. Go by and see Jamie and Chris at 1706 Mediterranean Avenue down at the ocean front for some great appetizers, burgers, toppings, Carolina snap dogs, chicken sandwiches, salads, vegan burgers, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings, as well as craft beer at Craft 17. Like them on Facebook. It's a pleasure to talk to Ian Locke. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Greg. Thanks. How are you?
Very good. Always a pleasure. Let's talk about the Tide's current homestand.
Yeah, we're home through Sunday. We had a little bit of rain to start the homestand on Monday where we got rained out, but tonight, Tuesday, we have a doubleheader beginning at 5:05, so fans can come out and get see two games for the price of one. One ticket's good for both games. That starts at 5:05, and then Wednesday we have a noon game, 12:05, against Gwinnett, which is the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. So feel free to skip out on some on work or take a long lunch or something to come down. Thursday, we welcome in the Charlotte Knights, which is the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox, where we have some happy hour drink specials, natty Bohemian beer here at the ballpark. Friday, we have a baseball card giveaway at 7:05, and then we have Boy Scouts that are able to sleep on the field overnight. So that's always a fun night where the Boy Scouts come out, line the field pregame, and then after the game they watch a movie. I believe we're going to watch The Sandlot on the big screen while they're camping out overnight. So that's always a fun thing. Saturday is a real big night where we have the U.S. Marine Corps night, post-game fireworks, and a lot of pregame ceremonies honoring the brave folks who serve in the Marine Corps. And then we wrap up the homestand on Sunday. Father's Day, we have an Argyle sock giveaway to the first 2,000 men ages 18 and over, so taking care of the fathers. And there's actually a pregame catch on the field where from 11:45 to 12:15, kids can come out in the field, play catch on the Harbor Park ball field. So it's a pretty good way to wrap up the homestand.
The big question, Ian Locke, the PR director for the Tides, have you ever spent the night at the ballpark?
I have actually. We've had a couple times. Harbor Park has many suites. There's a couple times where we play a day game after a night game, and the night game goes 12, 13, 14 innings, and it's 1, 2 a.m. and I go, hey, I got to be back here at 7. What's the point? So I just kind of head upstairs to one of the suites, crash on the couch, and before you know it, back to work. It's part of the beauty of working in baseball is I'm not alone in that regard. There's a whole lot of folks who've had to spend the night at one point or another.
Talk about the Tides at home and on the road this year. How has the dynamic been? Of course, it's good to have a good overall record.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty consistent on both at home and on the road. Right now, we interplay tonight 5 games over 500, 3 games over 500 at home, and 2 games over 500 on the road. So we've been one of the better road teams in the league. I think we're at the 3rd best road record right now, and we've been playing pretty consistent ball at home as well. We had a little hiccup our last homestand where we lost, I think, 4 of 6 on that homestand, and that was just a kind of a rough one with weather and delays and just kind of a forgetful homestand. We wanted to put that one behind us, but we're playing right now 6 straight games against our division here during this homestand, and we're 3 games out in the division, and we're currently tied for the wild card lead in the International League. So a chance to make up some ground in the division this week and continue some playoff push here with the wild card.
How are the field conditions, of course, at your park compared to the other fields around the league that the team plays on?
I think it's great. I think any of the players and coaches will let you know that Kenny Magner and his crew does a fantastic job, getting the field ready, getting the field prepped for games, and dealing with the Hampton Roads weather. I mean, we all know that around here it can be. I don't think we ever had a spring here. I think it went from winter, it was snowing, and all of a sudden it was 75, 80 degrees, and just like that. The weather changes on a dime, and we have some crazy thunderstorms that come through. I know last homestand we had, I think, an inch and a half of rain fell in about a 45-minute span, and we still ended up playing. I mean, that came through at about 6:30 or so on a Saturday night, and we were playing by 8. So Kenny and his crew do a great job. I mean, they a lot of folks, see him out there, raking the field and getting everything ready for games, but they don't see the work behind the scenes that he puts in, him and his crew put in. When the team goes on the road, they just aerated the field while the team was on the road, and did a whole lot of prep to make sure that the field will play great when the team comes back into town.
And we have a lot of tourists that scan the radio on Saturday morning, listen to our show, a lot of the feedback we get. And, of course, for all you college football fans, the Tides play more home games in one homestand in 1 week than any college football team in Virginia plays.
Yeah, that's one thing people people love going to Tides games, and when they talk to me about, hey, what's it like working there, and it's a lot of fun, but there is a lot of hours that come into it because, like you said, we'll play 7-8 games in a row, and today I'll be here for 9:30 in the morning, probably until midnight-ish, maybe 11 p.m. midnight, and then do it all again tomorrow and the next day, and keep doing that all the way through Sunday. So you're working 12, 13, 14-hour days when the team's in town. So a lot of home games, but I think we have 70 home games plus a couple exhibition games early on in the year, and I also work the road games as well. So there's once the off season hits after Labor Day, I do take about a month-long nap just to kind of catch up on my sleep.
Talk about some of the players that have stood out for the older fans. They remember Carl Yastrzemski that played for the Red Sox for several decades, as you know. Up until the early 80s, he was still playing. Talk about his relative that plays for the Tides for the last few years.
Yeah, his grandson, Mike Yastrzemski, has been on our team now the last portions of the last 3 years, and he joined us in mid-May, and he's been great. He's through 25 games or so. He's already has 5 triples, which is hard to believe. He's tied for the league lead in triples, and he didn't join us till May 15th. So Mike's been great. He's playing left field and center field for us, a little bit of right field, and drawn a bunch of walks, hit a bunch of home runs, and kind of been a spark plug for us at the top of the order. So he's got a great, obviously the pedigree of his last name speaks for itself, and when we played Pawtucket here, and when we go on the road there's certainly a large number of Red Sox fans who appreciate what his grandfather did, and we're hopeful Mike will get a chance. I mean, he's close. Obviously, we're just one step away, and he's been playing well, and he continues to play well. He's going to get his chance.
Talk about, you mentioned the triples. That's a really unique thing. Singles and doubles you see all the time, bunts occasionally, but triples and inside the park home runs, Ian, you don't see a whole lot of.
Yeah, and Mike had an inside the park home run the other day.
Wow.
Okay. Kind of got a little fortunate with the center fielder in Toledo. Mike, there was first and second, and Mike singled to center, and the center fielder kind of took a bad route and slipped, and the ball rolled all the way past him all the way to the center field wall, and Mike had an inside the park home run. So it's one of the more enjoyable, one of the exciting plays you'll see in baseball. And we already have 16 triples, and that's second in the league here. And it's one of those things where Harbor Park is definitely, if you ask around, it's definitely a pitcher's park. The dimensions of it and the wind coming off the Elizabeth River sometimes will knock a ball down that might go out somewhere else, but the gaps in left center and right center field do play well to those guys with a little bit of speed. And, you can pepper the gaps there with a line drive, and you can see yourself standing on third base with a triple pretty frequently.
I know they had fireworks recently, of course, several areas in Hampton Roads. Talk about fireworks the rest of the summer and some of the promotions coming up.
Yeah, and we have fireworks pretty much every Saturday night the rest of the season. We have a big one on July 3rd, which is actually a Tuesday night. We're not home on July 4th, but the night before Independence Day, we have fireworks as well, and that's always a big event down here in downtown Norfolk. And then our entire schedule you can view online at norfolktides.com, our promotion schedule. But pretty much every Saturday night throughout the rest of the year, we have fireworks, and those are always a big night. And we combine a lot of those Saturday nights with some bigger promotions like we have this week with U.S. Marine Corps Night. We'll do a lot of different nights to honor the military, where we do a Coast Guard night, a Navy night, different nights throughout the year. We also have a couple throwback nights where we put the 50-cent hot dogs, 50-cent popcorn, and 50-cent sodas, and those are we have one of those coming up on June 25th, where it's turned back to clock night. We'll wear throwback uniforms, and for 50 cents to get a hot dog, 50 cents a hot dog and popcorn and sodas, you can bring the whole family out and enjoy the game for a really, really affordable night. So that's one of the bigger promotions coming up, and we've got a whole bunch. And all you need to do is check out NorfolkTides.com and click on promotions, and you can see the whole promotional schedule for the rest of the season.
Right, for the tourists listening right now, Ian, pretty much on their way to Waterside, they can see your beautiful park, which is 26 years old now.
Yeah, 26 years old. I mean, we're right in downtown Norfolk, and it's very simple, very easy to get there from the oceanfront if you're out there, checking out the beach. It's a quick 20-minute drive down 264, and it's right in downtown Norfolk. You'll see the brand new Ferris wheel actually down there, which looks pretty cool. You can see that from the ballpark. But 26 years old. It was voted when it was built it was voted the nicest ballpark in the entire country, minor league ballpark, and it still looks great. I mean, there's still some stuff that we've added every year. We try and add to it. And this previous year, we added a brand new picnic area in left field, which is covered and great for groups and great for fans if they want to just go out and try and catch a home run ball in left field. And we have a party deck in right field that is more of a party atmosphere where they have some drinks out there, and you can kind of heckle the right fielder and enjoy the game from the right field angle. And but there's a lot of stuff for families too. I mean, we have a kids zone where we have a bounce house and speed pitch, and our mascots Riptide and Triton are always around the ballpark. We got clowns to paint faces and all sorts of stuff. And one thing great for kids too is kids can run the bases at every game after the game, which is always a nice touch to end the night. So plenty of things for families to do out here, and we appreciate anyone who wants to come out. Just give us a call at 622-2222, and we can answer any questions you may have.
All right, connect with the Tides also on social media. And I was talking to Bill Bishop, as you know, one of the voices of the Tides that's still alive in the area. And it's hard to believe that Harbor Park is older now than Met Park is.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I mean, it's crazy to think of, everyone views Harbor Park as, brand new, and that kind of speaks to itself as to how great of shape it's in. But yeah, 1993 was the year it was built, and I think Met Park was 1970 to 92. So we've actually surpassed the length of Met Park, but it's still a beautiful facility. I mean, for those who haven't been out here, the view of the Elizabeth River is fantastic. To sit there, be on the river, get a nice breeze, enjoy a hot dog and a cold drink, and watch the sunset over the water while watching some AAA baseball. You can't really beat it.
All right, at Norfolk Tides on Twitter, Ian Locke. We will talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you. Ian Locke right there with the Norfolk Tides right here on Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends at CP Shuckers. Locals tradition, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food, great appetizers, steak bites, always great specials by Chef Leon and the crew, Matt, Mark, and the great staff at CP Shuckers with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. Always great events going on. Like them on Facebook.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And highlights, our good friends at Oh Yummy Sushi, best Japanese cuisine in Virginia. Give them a call at 631-6888. And you can see their commercial right now on HLN on Cox Cable, right there on 401 North Great Neck Road in Virginia Beach. Excellent sushi at Oh Yummy Sushi as well. Of course, Sports Scene is online on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube during the week. On the radio Saturday from 10 to 11 on the Lighthouse, 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com, type in WPMH, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, browse, shop, visit, bookmark it, GJBTV.com, and HRSMHOF.com. Our question of the day presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News next to Patrick Henry Mall to Joe Daniel. Joe Daniel, how do you deal with stewardship, tithing, giving to charities, or do you really want to, or is it a time you just can or can't?
Well, I think it's really important to give. I think we're called as Christians to be very, very giving in our tithe, in our offering. And so we do make it a priority in our family. So we do support a missionary in India. My wife has a heart for India, so we are supporting someone who's in India spreading the gospel. But I also think it's important to support your local church or a local charity. So I think it's just very important to donate your money, give, and not just money, but of your time. Donating your time and actually working at some of these charities if you're able to for no pay. You're just saying with a heart posture of I'm giving of my substance. It doesn't always have to be money. It's a giving of who you are. And I think that's very important.
You hear me say that a lot: time, talent, and treasure. Your time is your time, of course. Your talent is what you bring to the table, your own unique talent. We all have our own unique talent, and treasure can be, obviously, financial. Thank you, Joe Daniel, and our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Lunch, dinner, excellent salads, boneless traditional wings, burgers, wraps, sandwiches, all the games on TV. Excellent kids menu. Go by and see Paul and the wonderful staff at 12150 Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. Give them a call at 249-3999, right next to Patrick Henry Mall in Newport News. Buy $30 in gift cards. That's for everybody for use on a future visit, and get a $5 bonus now through June 17th. BuffaloWildWings.com, next to Patrick Henry Mall.
Sports and Imports, located at 1322 Transylvania Avenue in Chesapeake. Sports and Imports specializes in all European models without the European price. ASE certified and Bosch certified. Don't waste time and money guessing what the problem is. Sports and Imports can pinpoint the problem and fix it the first time. Make an appointment today. Financing is available. Visit sportsandimports.net or call 545-9394. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to gjbtv.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene right here on 1010 AM, 100.1 FM, The Lighthouse, tunein.com. Listen anywhere on your app, on your phone, or your computer. Also, our good friends at the Courtyard Hampton Marriott right there at 1917 Coliseum Drive. Go by and see Mark and the great staff. Give them a call at 838-3300. Spacious rooms, excellent swimming pool, bistro, convenient to Red Lobster, Outback, all the great restaurants, excellent guest rooms. An oasis in Hampton is the Courtyard Marriott in Hampton. Wonderful hotel in Hampton Roads. Let's welcome back our monthly feature, Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate in Virginia Beach. How are you, Brenda?
I'm doing great. Greg, how are you today?
Of course, very good. This is a tough time of the year because it's hard to deliver, but people can always come by and see the great showcase of chocolate.
Well, actually, we deliver locally all year long. So whether you need something delivered to Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Portsmouth, anything like that, even a couple of the spots across the water, we can't ship right now, but we can deliver. We do that all year long.
That is great, the fact that you can.
You can surprise Dad at his office if you want with something cool for Father's Day.
Yeah, despite the weather, sometimes it can be cool or hot. Hampton Roads is so wacky with the weather.
Got that right.
It's not just wacky weekdays, wacky weekends. But let's talk about Father's Day compared to the other holidays you have.
Well, I think sometimes people think, it's Dad. So they think shirts, ties, something related to a sport, golf, and that kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, a lot of dads love chocolate, and we have got the chocolate that dads love. We've got all their favorite apples, the gourmet apples, and gift boxes of chocolate, strawberries. We actually can do strawberries made to look like baseballs and football design. They're kind of fun for Dad. We've got a lot of things, and we are running a special all week long. Normally, our fondue package is $32 for fondue for two people, and a beverage, and a little gift bag of chocolates that have been made here in the store. And so for two people, it's $32. We're doing $10 off all week through Sunday, which is Father's Day. You can come into the store and enjoy it. You can take it home, or you can buy a gift certificate and use it later on. So if you're thinking about spending some time with Dad, come on in the nice, cool, air-conditioned seating area and enjoy chocolate fondue and save $10.
You can't beat that. And one thing about your store, Brenda, is it's always evolved that it's not just chocolate. You mentioned the apples, and you have different nuts that go with the chocolate. So it's not just milk chocolate. It's a lot of different variations of combinations, too.
Oh, there's so much in the store. You know, people always say, "Oh, I haven't been to your store. What do you have?" And I go, "Oh no, it could take me all day to tell you that." So yeah, the best thing to do is stop in, see what we have, because we've got a nice line of sugar-free as well, which is important. Some people really like chocolate, enjoy sweet things, but can't have the sugar. So we have sugar-free chocolate bars, as well as we can make a gift box of sugar-free also. And we can do gift baskets. We have got so much chocolate.
You sure do.
Cookies, we have some other things besides just chocolate, but primarily we're all about the chocolate.
And, of course, you make it right there on premises.
Mm-hmm.
And of
a
course,
lot of it we do. All the gourmet apples are made here. The berries are dipped here fresh every day. We use only Belgian chocolate for what we make here, which is a very creamy, smooth but rich flavor of chocolate. So people really enjoy that. But about a case and a half of what we have of our 4 cases are made here in the store. And then truffles. Truffles are always very popular for gifting.
Right, and the different types of nuts and Rice Krispies and everything else, the peanut butter.
And then, also, it's not just dads right now, it's grads, and also there are a lot of weddings happening. There are a lot of teachers' gifts. Apple for a Teacher is perfect. And we start summer camp for our kids next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can sign your child up, and they can come in and make some treats. They're here from 11 to 2. They have lunch with us. They get to make a covered apple with caramel and make a chocolate bar and dip a Rice Krispie treat. They have a lot of fun. They have lunch, pizza, and a beverage with us for lunch. So, yeah, that's fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And really, there's something for everyone. And one thing, too, Brenda, you mentioned, people go there weekly to socialize with their friends or catch up. But what I really like about your place is, too, no matter what the weather is, whether it's cold, people get out of the cold, out of the heat during the summertime. They just catch up with real FaceTime, not the app or the computer. They get down to transparent talking the way most people grew up used to.
Yeah. Well, it's really nice. Our staff we always get so many compliments on our staff because they're very knowledgeable about the products that we have in the store and what we offer, and they're really nice people. They just like to help you find what you need, try different things. We're big fans of sampling, so they're just great people to help you have an experience. We don't want you to just come in, put something on the counter, ring it up, pay for it, go home. We want you to have a good experience in our store, and I think we've accomplished that pretty well.
That really is a great point. The experience, you're open 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm, we sure are.
All the
Monday
holidays.
Through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then Sunday we are open 12 to 5.
Yeah, we'll probably talk to you after July 4th, but will you be having a special July 4th themed candy at all coming up?
We do some chocolates that are kind of red, white, and blue, but we don't. The things that we make aren't really what you would call a confection. They're really inexpensive chocolates and things like that. So we don't do a whole lot here that's real themed as far as that's concerned. But we'll do some gift baskets in red, white, and blues, and we certainly have some of the foil-wrapped chocolates that are a little more patriotic, let's say. We are closed on 4th of July, though.
Right. TheRoyalChocolate.com, right there in the town center, 557-6925. There's a lot of events going on now this time of the year, too.
Oh, boy, it's crazy around here with events. We've got Why Not Wednesday, free, open to the public, free parking. This week is Guava Jam. So every Wednesday night it's a different band. Great place for kids. It's really a family event. You can purchase, adult beverages as well. We usually have something happening in the square, different nights. Everything's free. All the street entertainment's free. Or you can watch this big new building go up right across from me. They're about to put in one of those bridges that's already built, and you just pop it in place to get across the street from the second floor.
Too cool.
I know, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of fun to just hang around by the window here and see what they're doing.
Yeah, like the Royal Chocolate on Facebook. Brenda, we will talk to you again next month, my friend.
All right, Greg, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate. And, of course, Joe Daniel, as you well know, chocolate brings smiles to everyone's faces, including yours.
Yes, it does. I do love some chocolate. And what she was talking about with the sports-themed strawberries and the apples, it made my mouth water. It sounds really good.
Joe Daniel loves his pizza, too. All right, Panera, all items 100% clean. They deliver. They do catering, soups, sandwiches, salads, bread, smoothies, all the great breakfast sandwiches, all the great sandwiches like ham and cheese, turkey and cheese, all the great salads like we mentioned. The Greek salad is really, really good. And, of course, they add some strawberries to it, some chicken, cookies, desserts, refreshing beverages. Go by and see Brian and the staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be right there in Harborview in Suffolk. Very convenient for everyone at 6255 College Drive. Give them a call at 483-3670. Open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. Panera Bread in Harborview, a truly special place.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
Always a favorite, What Tees Me Off, presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Spacious, nice dining area, lunch, dinner daily, burgers, steaks, soups, all the great rollout menu specials. You can't miss it. Download their app, of course. For more, go to Outback.com. Visit them at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. Go by Father's Day to Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville for a great meal, great dessert, something for everyone. Go by and see Mike at Outback in Kempsville. What tees me off, Joe Daniel? Walking in the door at the same time, let's say at a department store, as strangers do at a public place. You're both kind of like walking in at that same time. Do I hold the door open? Do I just keep going on? It can be awkward.
No, that awkward distance where somebody is just far enough to where, okay, do I stand here at the doorway and hold the door open for them, but yet they're far enough so the door could close if given enough time. It is weird. It's that awkward distance where, like, I don't know what to do, and I'm probably always going to choose the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, even when you're in a department store like Walmart and somebody's like right in front of you when you're walking, even though you have plenty of space, it's almost like they're blocking your lane.
Yeah, I know. Why? And then you always sidestep, and then they sidestep and mirror you, and it's just an awkward exchange.
How about this? It's even worse. People who see you, we mentioned stuff like this before, make eye contact, but they don't wave or even acknowledge you, yet you wave.
Yeah. Or you're waving at someone who's behind them.
Yeah.
And then they wave back, and they're like, do I know you? And you're waving. No, it's not you. The person behind you. I'm sorry.
How about this? I can't understand this. Sitting on the floor and talking. People can just get on the floor, not on a seat, not on a stool, but to get on the floor and just have a conversation. It's not easy getting on the floor. It's not easy getting off the floor.
Yeah, you're right.
Who does that? How about letting someone pass you on the lane on the road and no acknowledgement, like usually that friendly wave, thank you, I got this.
Yeah, definitely the friend wave. And I mean, you don't even have to pick up your hand. I mean, it's just two fingers that you lift from the steering wheel or something like that. But you're right, the acknowledgement, just the courtesy of that, I guess.
Gift wrapping. I had a gift wrap for a couple weddings. I got some people to do it. I can't stand gift wrapping at all, no matter what time of the year.
You're right. Wrapping stuff is hard. It's obviously for birthdays and Christmas and stuff like that. It's just difficult wrapping stuff. I don't know. Some people are really talented at it, and I'm very envious of the people who are just gifted in gift wrapping. But I am not one of them. I just kind of garble it around and then hope for the best.
Yeah, or gift baskets, whatever. Long emails on a Friday afternoon for no reason. Really, and it wasn't an issue, just long emails. You could have said, do this or do that and be done with it, but long emails.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it depends on your phrase, because for some stuff, I think that an email would work if it's short and concise. But if it's long and drawn out, probably a phone call would be better, just so you can actually hear the tone that the person is speaking in. Because email, it's so ambiguous. You don't know how the person is sounding or anything like that. So definitely, I think if you're going to do a novel email, probably a phone call would have been better.
Of course, we're in the air conditioning season with your cars and home, of course. Nothing like getting an oil change, thinking everything is good with your car, all of a sudden it breaks down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, what happened? Didn't y'all check it?
Yeah, a broken down car, or when they mess it up for some reason. I've heard stories of people go get their oil changed and they drive it out from the place and it seizes up because they forgot to put oil back in. They changed the filter, but they never put oil back in. I mean, that'll ruin your vehicle altogether. And it's crazy when you try to go to a place to get it fixed, maintained, and it comes out worse than it went in.
Last minute changes can always affect anything.
Oh yeah. You gotta learn to improvise and just go with the flow. You do your best.
At Greg Bickle on Twitter, that's what tees me off. And want to thank our guests today on Sports Scene, Darryl Cummings, Ian Locke, Brenda Tusing. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archived audio and video. Also go to hrsmhof.com. See the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame as well, and hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. At Greg Bick on Twitter. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Saturday. We'll talk to you soon.